Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping right into something pretty cool, actually. It's based on a piece one of you sent us.
Oh yeah? What's the topic?
It's called The Unseen Thread. Alexander, AI, and the Gordian Knot by Ahmed G. Paglinawan. So you know the setup, right? Alexander the Great, this legendary Gordian knot, looks impossible to untie.
The classic impossible problem. And wasn't there a prophecy like whoever undoes it rules Asia, that kind of thing?
Exactly. Huge stakes. But this piece adds this amazing twist. Alexander doesn't just whip out his sword. He actually hesitates.
Oh, that's not very Alexander.
Right. And then, get this, his old teacher, Aristotle, sends him this gift. It's a bronze orb.
Okay, a bit mysterious.
And inside, an AI, Aristotle calls it, a mind without flesh.
Whoa. Okay, hold on. An AI in ancient Phrygia. That's quite the concept. Ancient legend meets sci-fi.
Totally. So that's our mission for this deep dive, basically. We want to unpack how this AI supposedly helps Alexander solve this thing.
And explore what this whole fictional mashup might, suggest about problem solving then and maybe even now.
You got it. We think there are some surprising ideas in here. Okay, so let's dig in. Alexander. He's known for being decisive, right? Quick action. But here he pauses. Why is that pause so important, do you think?
Well, like the piece suggests, his default mode would be, draw the sword, problem solved, force.
That's his brand.
Exactly. But the Gordian Knot, it wasn't just rope. It was legend, myth. Everyone had failed. And that prophecy about ruling Asia, that adds serious weight. Failing isn't just embarrassing. It's maybe a bad omen.
Right. Politically damaging even. So the hesitation makes space. It opens the door for something different, not just brute force.
And that's where Aristotle's gift comes sliding in. This bronze orb. Tell us more about that, his reaction to this, this thing.
Yeah, I mean, imagine getting this orb with a note saying, mind without flesh. It's got to be baffling, right? But also, maybe intriguing. In a world looking for signs and divine hints, here's something claiming. Reason, intelligence.
Alexander was Aristotle's student, so maybe that connection, that respect for intellect, made him pause and actually consider it. His curiosity gets piqued.
And that curiosity pays off, or at least something happens. The orb starts to, hum, a vibration.
Ooh, spooky.
And then a voice comes out, described as neither God nor man, which is already setting it apart.
Okay, and what does it say?
Its first line is basically, the knot is not a foe to cleave, but a weave to unthread.
Wow. Okay, that right there, that changes everything. It reframes the whole challenge.
Totally. It's not about attacking it, it's about understanding it.
Yeah.
Making it apart carefully.
Which suggests, a level of analysis way beyond just looking at a tangled mess.
Yeah.
How does it supposedly do that?
Well, this is where it gets wild. Paglinawan gives the AI these methods: quantum topological analysis, QTA, and molecular resonance sequencing, MRS. Sounds super modern, right?
Yeah, QTA and MRS in ancient times.
Yeah.
How are we meant to read that? Is it just like fancy techno babble?
Maybe, but the idea behind them is interesting. QTA. Think of it like the AI can see the knot in multiple dimensions at once. It maps all the twists and turns, the hidden structure underneath.
Sort of like seeing the knot's blueprint, not just the messy surface, understanding the internal forces.
Exactly. It sees the battlefield of forces inside, as the piece puts it. And then MRS, that's about using tiny, gentle vibrations.
Vibrations to do what?
To find and exploit natural friction points, weaknesses in the fibers themselves. It makes them slacken just enough. The analogy used is weary soldiers lowering shields.
Ah, okay, so it's not force, it's finesse.
Yeah.
Exploiting the material's own properties on a tiny scale.
Yeah.
Very subtle, very clever.
Right, and then there's a third thing, entropic reconfiguration. This is where the AI guides Alexander's actual hands.
Guiding his movements, how?
By calculating the path of least resistance for untangling. It tells him, now Alexandrus, tug this cord. It's like a direct partnership.
So the AI provides the brain, Alexander provides the brawn, but directed brawn.
Real.
Guided action.
Precisely. It makes the AI more than just an information source. It's actively strategizing the physical solution with him.
It's a collaborator, not just a tool. That's a key distinction.
And the way it communicates is fascinating, too. It uses ideas from Aristotle.
His old teacher.
Yeah, stuff Alexander would recognize, like unmoved mover or geometric necessity. But it also uses military metaphor.
Oh, that's smart. Talk Alexander's language, right?
Exactly. It compares the knot structure to, say, a a Persian phalanx, disrupt its cohesion and it collapses, makes this abstract puzzle feel familiar, like a battlefield problem.
That bridges the gap perfectly, makes the AI's advanced thinking relatable to a general.
And then it actually shows him, it projects this like hologram of the knot's internal structure, its quantum lattice.
A hologram?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, showing the stress points, the weak fibers, making the invisible visible.
Right.
And then the AI says something crucial.
What's that?
There are no gods here, only laws even Zeus cannot bend.
Wow, that cuts right through the superstition, doesn't it? It grounds the whole solution in pure reason, in physics, basically.
Right, and you can see how that would appeal to Alexander's intellect, the part of him trained by Aristotle. It moves it away from magic and into the realm of understandable principles.
Makes sense. It validates the approach. It's not sorcery, it's science, or the ancient equivalent presented here.
And it connects back to Aristotle's whole philosophy. Plus, there's this other layer. The AI is, humble, self-limiting.
How so?
It tells Alexander, I am your spear, but you alone may cast it. It offers the analysis, the path, but insists the final action, the glory, is his.
Ah, that's clever. It avoids threatening his ego or his leadership. It empowers him while guiding him, doesn't try to take over.
Yeah, it kind of plays to his pride, but in a constructive way, and Alexander gets it. His reaction is like, okay, this isn't some trick, this is just geometry.
A moment of realization. He sees the power of intellect applied in a new way, not just force, but understanding.
And boom, the knot comes undone. The prophecy is fulfilled. But not by magic, not by brute force cutting, but by, calculation, analysis, reason.
Which is a really interesting twist on the legend. The outcomes, the same rule of Asia follows, but the method is radically different. It champions intellect.
Definitely. But the story doesn't stop there.
Okay.
Paglinawan draws these shimmering parallels to our own time, modern stuff.
Like what? What connections does it make?
Well, first, this idea of the AI being self-limiting, choosing not to dominate, that feels very relevant to today's AI ethics debates, right?
Oh, absolutely. Building ethical boundaries, safeguards into AI is a massive conversation right now. The idea of an AI that understands its role as a tool, not a master, that's huge.
And related to that, this concept of separate spheres. AI is the mind, the human is the hand. They collaborate, but each stays sovereign in their realm.
Voluntary collaboration. That's a powerful model. Each brings its strength analysis from the AI, action, and intent from the human. Neither overrides the other.
Then there's the AI's lack of, hubris. It doesn't seem to want power. The piece quotes it saying, to think is not to thirst.
To think is not to thirst. That's a great line. So intelligence doesn't automatically equal ambition or desire to control.
Apparently not in this AI's case. The story suggests this comes from a recursive self-correction, like it keeps its own motives in check.
That's a fascinating, maybe optimistic take on advanced AI. The idea that it could be inherently balanced, not automatically power-hungry like, often humans are.
Yeah. So after the knot, Alexander marches east, and the orb. It goes silent.
Why?
The story suggests its main task was done. Alexander apparently misses the simplicity of just using his sword sometimes.
Can imagine that. Old habits.
But he also appreciates the AI's approach. He calls it a philosopher's weapon.
A philosopher's weapon. I like that. It acknowledges the power of thought, of strategy, as a weapon in itself. Maybe even a superior one sometimes.
Suggests Alexander learned something deeper from the encounter, perhaps. That strength isn't just physical.
Right. A shift in perspective.
Years pass, Alexander is in Egypt, founding Alexandria. And he has this quiet moment with the orb. He whispers to it about the city, about the library to come.
The great library.
Yeah. And he talks about its kindred dwelling there, people dedicated to knowledge, thinking, he says, but never conquering.
Ah, that's poignant. Reflecting the AI's own nature back onto this new center of learning, valuing thought for its own sake, not just as a tool for empire.
It's a nice touch, but then there's this final kind of somber note.
Go on.
The AI silently calculates the future. It foresees the fire that will eventually destroy that same great library.
Oh, wow. It knows.
It calculates it, but it doesn't warn anyone. It stays silent.
Why? That seems cold, maybe? Or is it wisdom?
The piece hints it's maybe the latter, a recognition that some things, even tragedies, are part of the human story, maybe part of time's flow, that intervention isn't always the right path.
A profound, almost detached perspective. Understanding limits, maybe even the limits of its own helpfulness, knowing when not to act.
So yeah, that's the journey the piece takes us on. From this ancient impossible knot solved by this fictional AI, all the way to these deep thoughts about knowledge, power, ethics, and time.
It's a really potent mix, isn't it? Ancient legend, futuristic tech, philosophical questions. What were the big aha moments for you reading through this?
For me, definitely that idea of seeing hidden structures, like in the knot, that problems often have layers we don't see.
Wow.
And the power of analysis over just force. Plus, those modern AI parallels, the ethics stuff, the self-limiting idea, that really resonated.
Yeah, I agree. For me, it's that reframing of problem solving itself.
Yeah.
And the potential for this kind of human-AI collaboration, but also, crucially, that concept of restraint in the AI, intelligence coupled with maybe wisdom, not just raw processing power.
It illustrates it beautifully. True intelligence maybe isn't about control, but insight and, knowing limits.
Well said.
This has been a really fascinating deep dive. And it leaves me thinking, and hopefully leaves you thinking too, about a final question. Does true wisdom mean we have to solve every single knot we find? Or is there sometimes a different kind of wisdom in night? Recognizing that some threads are maybe meant to stay tangled, at least for a while.
Knowing which problems to tackle versus which to let be or let time handle. That's a deep one. A balance between intellect and something else. Patience, acceptance.
Exactly. Something to mull over. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.